moving on to blue. But yeah, my overall opinion on white, it has some good cards, specifically for like some very tribal decks. I think I like the -1. I like playing with -1/-1 counters, which is why I bought the Blight Commander deck. So I am excited for a lot of the -1/-1 shenanigans. If I was gonna do draft, I'd probably try and make a Blight deck work in draft. But so I was more excited for those -1/-1 cards than anything else. But yeah, there are definitely some very good white cards. Right. Time for blue. Usually I hate blue. Usually I hate blue. Because there's only two things blue ever does, which is fly, and then incidental stuff that doesn't really matter in limited. Right? Like white, like blue has flyers, and then it has a bunch of stuff that nobody cares about in limited. Right? It's got like counter spells. Nobody really plays counter spells in limited, unless they're like unless you are planning on playing full control. It has draw, which doesn't affect the board, so you're probably just going to die. It has, unless it's like, blue is a supporting color. Blue by itself, I don't like. Blue as a supporting color to other colors, I think is fine. But blue by itself, I just don't think has, because like, it's main, like a lot of the times it's like, oh yeah, I have mill as my win strategy, and it's just like, well, that's just not, and there are some occasional times it's very good, but most of the time mill is not going to be the way you win a game in limited. Like I will say, what was it? The first set with adventure in it had a 1-mana common merfolk that had target opponent or target player mills the top 4 or 5 cards of their library for 1 mana, and then it was a 0/4 for 1 mana. And there was specifically on Magic the Gathering Arena, because the bots couldn't function properly with it. The bots would never pick it because it was just seen as a low priority blue card. So you would go into limited and there'd be people with like 8 of them, and they'd mill you for like half your deck by like turn 3, and you just lose. You just lose to mill on like turn 5. But like, apart from very rare instances where mill just goes hard, right? Like, generally it's not the way you're going to win. So I usually dislike blue because I feel like it doesn't do anything by itself. Like, blue doesn't throw hands ever, really, apart from like with the occasional flyer. And it just kind of sits there and tries not to lose, which, again, But we'll see. Maybe this one will be different. Aquatex Defense is a 2-mana flash enchantment. When it enters, enchanted creature gains hexproof until end of turn. Okay. And enchanted creature gets +1/+2. This is good. Again, it's a flash enchantment, which makes it... This is more like this is like an instant protect spell that also gives +1/+2, but it sticks around. So this is better. This is the sort of enchantment I can get behind, usually. Again, I don't tend to like enchantment auras or equipment very much, but this having flash and giving hexproof, like this card will blow me out at some point, and I will be upset about it. But also, it's just in general going to be a good card. Blossom Bind. Okay, 2 mana, enchanted creature. When this... Oh, it's a tap down enchantment. Yeah. Sure, blue usually gets these. 2 mana for 1. It also means counters can't be put on it. Sure. I don't know how important that is, but... It is technically blue's version of removal, so... Okay. Champion of the Shoal. Okay, here's the Merfolk Champion. 4 mana for a 4/6. As an additional cost to cast the spell, behold a Merfolk and exile it. Exile a creature, a Merfolk you control, or one from hand. Whenever this creature enters or becomes tapped, tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on. When it leaves the battlefield, return the... Okay. This can attack. Got a fat ass on it. So it's good at blocking as well. And whenever it attacks, it taps down something. And when it enters, pretty good, right? Like I think of all of the blue things I was going to see early, this is decent. I mean, I imagine all of the champion spells are going to be good because the old champion cards were all really bananas, right? I can't remember what they used to do. How do stun counters work? If a creature would be untapped, but it would untap, but it has a stun counter on it, you remove the stun counter instead and it stays tapped. So this is tap something and it stays there for 2 turns. So when you play this, you tap something your opponent has, and then when it goes to their turn, they remove the stun counter, it stays tapped, and then when it goes to their next turn, then they untap it. So you can keep one card locked down with this forever. This is just permanent lockdown on one creature, or you could just swap it to be a different creature every turn to remove blockers out of the way. So, isn't it locked down on 2 creatures? So, sort of. So, you play it, you tap down one creature. Yes, but, so yeah, so they don't untap, you swing, you can tap another creature, but then on their turn, the first creature untaps. So it depends. If you tap down the first creature because you don't want it to attack you, then it could attack you. Or because you don't want it to tap to do something crazy, it could do that thing. So you can tap down one creature permanently so it can never attack and never do the thing, or you can tap down 2 creatures so you can get more attackers through. Is how this would work. It's not permanent on 2 creatures, is the issue. So it depends what the first creature you tapped down is going to do if it becomes untapped. But yeah, I think this is fine. This is probably really good, actually. I'm probably underrating this because it's got a blue border around it, and I hate the color blue. This is good. This is a good card. I will concede this is a good card. Disruptor of Currents, a 5-mana 3/3. Wait, you just had a 4-mana... it was champion, I suppose. Okay. I'm the same who just feels anti-fun. Yeah, blue just... Again, blue is a good supporting color. Like, blue can fix a lot of problems other colors have. But, by itself, it just feels so nothing. Bland. 3/3 flash, convoke, so technically you're not paying 5 for it, but sure. You can flash it in at the end of turn. When this creature enters, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. This is actually good. Like a bounce spell stapled to a 3/3. And it's a bounce as a permanent, not just a creature. Yeah, this is actually probably worth the cost. This, yeah, again, this is a good card. I can't even come in and say, like, fuck blue in particular. This is just a good card. I'd pick this if I was going blue. Like, if I was going merfolks, I would pick this 100%. But if I was just going blue, this is probably a card you take. Blitterwing Nuisance. A 1-mana 2/2. It's actually a 1/1 because it comes in with a -1/-1 counter. Remove a counter from this creature. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker this turn, draw a card. This is good. Yeah, like this card. 1-mana 1/1 flyer that you can again, this also isn't sorcery only. So you can swing with a bunch of stuff, and your opponent always has to be aware that at any time you could, as long as you have the mana, you can pay 3, remove this counter, and draw a bunch of cards. This is a good card. Again, blue's really bringing it early. There's a lot of good blue cards I'm seeing. Yeah, this is a good card. Glamour Grifter. 2 mana, 1/2 with flash and flying. When it enters, choose up to 1 target creature. Until end of turn, it has base power and toughness 4/4 and gains all creatures types. Again, this is blue getting some hands on it. Because this has flash, so you can just play this when you're blocking. You can play this when you're doing damage to something. You can play this when you're... This could technically kill your opponent. Right? Turn my 1/1 flyer into a 4/4, crack you in the jaw. This could definitely win games. Blue actually learning how to attack people. I am impressed. Glamourite, a 3 mana flash flyer. Oh god, a fairy's all gonna have flash. I guess this guy doesn't. And there's a lot of flash going around in blue. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards out of the first 7. 4 out of the first 7 cards have got flash. What's happening? Yeah, anyway. 3 mana for a 2/2 flying. You just take this because it's got flying, right? Also, these have all got flying, so you are just taking all of these cards because they're all flyers, which means they're just way better. 3 mana, 2/2 flash flying. When it enters, tap a creature or untap a creature. Yep, that's not a great ability, but it is a 3 mana, 2/2 flyer. And like I said, having enough flyers is just going to be what wins you games, usually in blue. Oh my god, another one. A 3 mana, 3/4 flash flyer. But it comes in as a 2/3 because it comes in with a -1/-1 counter. Remove a counter from this creature. Counter a target non-creature spell. Its controller draws a card. Again, this is good. Why am I getting Uwu spammed from Miko? Jesus. This is just another... This is just another good card. Yeah. Flash flying has... Because it's also a counter spell, right? Like, your opponent has to know this is always up. Which just... I need to increase the price of this Uwu sound effect if Miko's going to be here. She's just going to spam it at me, isn't she? I can see it coming. Yeah. Yeah, these fairy cards. These fairy cards are doing work. Glen Alendra's Answer. Hey, Miko, how you doing? A 4 mana... was that... It's still... Are you still going? 6,000 points and knows how to use them. Oh, God. 6,000 points? There is no way. God damn it! This spell can't be countered. Counter all spells your opponents control and all abilities your opponents control. Create a 1/1 blue and black fairy creature token with flying for each spell and ability countered this way. So this is like uber counter. Which, in limited, is not good, right? Like, in standard, if you get up against another control deck and you get into a counter war, this is the ultimate no I win counter, right? But it costs 4. And in a normal limited format, this is just 4 mana, I counter your spell and get a 1/1. Right? Because you're generally not going to do like a big counter chain in limited. I mean... Yeah, because, like, even if... Say they play a removal spell and you counter it with the Glen Alendra Guardian. And then they use a counter that counters an ability. Which is only this one we've seen so far. I don't know. Yeah, this is bad and limited. This is just not going to be a limited thing. It's probably incredible in standard some way or another, or incredible in multiple things. These are all so cheap. It's a counter spell that creates a 1/1 flyer. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. In standard or, like, commander or something like that, if there's, like, a huge chain of spells going off, you could just, like, consume them all and get flyers, and this is good. But in limited, this just doesn't do anything, right? In limited, this is, I counter a spell and make a 1/1. For 4 mana? Sure. Right? That's not nothing to write home about. So, yeah, I don't really care. Glaive Gill Scoundrel, a 2-mana 1/3 with Vigilance. Whenever this attacks, you may tap another untapped creature you control. If you do, this creature can't be blocked. I'm sure this is fine. This is like peck damage, I guess, because you can always get it through because you can just tap something and this becomes unblockable. But again, it's going to take unless you've got pump spells, this is going to take a long time to kill anybody. So, I don't really know. This is not, like, incredible. This is just fine. Harmonized Crescendo. 6 mana. We need an Adam triggered emote. Yeah, just me being like, God damn it. Harmonized Crescendo. 6 mana. Convoke. Choose a creature type. Draw a card for each permanent you control of that type. Okay, yeah. This is probably a really good card. I think there's been cards printed like this before, right? I feel like there's definitely been cards printed like this before. I don't remember the name of them, but there's definitely draw a card for each creature of a certain type or whatever. This has Convoke as well, so it doesn't actually cost 6. It probably costs like 3 or 4. Again, the problem is in limited, this doesn't... Maybe this is good. I mean, I'm going to say this is fine. This is fine in limited because if you're some type of tribal deck, which you're probably going to be in limited, or in Lorwyn at least, this does something, right? So, sure, this is probably fine. Illusion Spinners. A 5-mana 4/3. You may cast a spell as though it had flash if you control a fairy. Another flash fairy. It's a 4/3 flyer, and this creature has hexproof as long as it's untapped. This is a good card. Yeah. Like, you flash this in at the end of your opponent's turn, you've got a flying 4/3 that they can't do anything about until you attack them with it. Yeah. This because then you, like, they can't destroy it in response, and you can generally save up and have, like, a counter spell or, like, that flash hexproof enchantment or something. This is going to kill some people. This is going to, like, come down on the end of your turn, and you're going to have to worry about what's going to happen, because if it's coming down, that either means they think you have nothing, or they have a way to protect it. Coolwrath Mystic. 3 mana for a 2/4. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, this creature gains +2/+0 and Vigilance. Third. Sure. Again, very pack fillery. This is, you know, kind of whatever. This is the type of thing I expect in blue, and it's not particularly exciting. Lockmare. Okay. 2 mana 4/5, but enters with 3 -1/-1 counters, so it's a 2 mana. What, 1/2? You can remove a counter to draw a card, not as impressive in blue, or you can remove 2 counters to tap a creature and put a stun counter on it. I mean, this is still good, right? This is still very good. Because your opponent either has to kill this thing, or it is a card draw engine / tap stuff down engine. I mean, it only has 3 counters to begin with, so it can only draw 1 card and tap down 1 creature. But if you have Blight anywhere in your deck and you can put Blight onto this, you can keep using it as a draw engine or a way to tap something down. It is good, but blue has been tempo, and this is sort of the reverse. I mean, yeah. Has blue been tempo? I mean, yeah, with the fairies, I guess. Yeah, all the fairies have been very tempo, right? And the merfolk. Yeah, you're probably right. Hmm. I mean, I still think it's a fine card, right? Because you can still use the remove 2 counters effect to tap something down, which slows your opponents down for a bit, and immediately turns this into a, what, 3/4? Like, if you're not using this just only for the card draw, it's still kind of like that. It's still kind of tempo-y, right? I don't know. I think playing this on turn 2 is probably bad, right? You probably don't play this until later because you don't need to tap it to use its effect. This is probably like a turn 4 or 5 play, right? When you can play it and immediately get something out of it. Which sounds weird for a 2-mana creature, but like, I feel like if you play this on turn 5 and you just go, here's my 2-mana 1/2, but I'm going to remove 2 counters, tap down this, it gets a stun counter so it can't untap, and then it's actually a 3/4 on the block, is kind of fine. It's kind of good. Right, like, that's still probably pretty good. Yeah, I think you just have to play it differently. I don't think this is a turn 2 play. I think this is like turn 4 or 5. So you could just be like, play it, remove counter, draw a card, or play it, remove the 2 counters, stun something. Like, I don't think you play this until later. I think that's what I think about it. Lofty, but again, it's still probably a good card. I'd still probably pick it. Lofty Dreams, 4-mana enchantment with Convoke, or 5-mana, but it's got Convoke, so it's not actually. When this aura enters, draw a card, and enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has flying. Again, I hate. I personally have a problem with auras because again, it's just the fastest way to get your creature hit with a removal spell. Like, you tap out 5 mana, have no defense, play this, and your opponent just goes, "Oh, I'll just kill it." But this does draw a card when it enters, so it does replace itself as long as it gets in. And it also gives flying. And that's a good way to kill someone. So, like, I think this is a good enchantment. It's a bit expensive. I don't like how expensive it is. But it is a good enchantment. I just have a personal vendetta against enchantments and equipment because I get fucked over every time I try and use them. Mirror Form. A 6-mana instant. Each non-land permanent you control becomes a copy of target non-aura permanent. Probably game winning? But I don't know what with. There's probably something that you just make. I mean, just make everything into an illusion spinner so everything's a 4/3. Yeah, any decent flyer. Yeah. Yeah, you just turn everything into any flyer that has more than 2 power. Oh yeah, it doesn't even have to be your permanent. You can just steal your opponent's good permanent and turn your entire fucking board into whatever that is. Again, this is probably cracked. This is another one. Like, looking at it, I'm there, like, if this is our only bomb and we have nothing else to play but this bomb, this probably doesn't win us the game. But if you can steal your opponent's bomb, or you just have, like, a 3/3 flyer and you make everything on your board into 3/3 flyers, you probably just kill your opponent anyway. So this is probably just good enough. It just looks weird. But yeah. Yeah, I think Mirror Form is actually like a really good bomb card. It just looks weird, but I think it is. Noogle the Mind. What? 2 mana, flash enchantment. Enchantment creatures lose all abilities and is a colorless Noogle. Noggle? Noggle. Noggle the Mind. I guess instead of Boggle the Mind, it's Noggle the Mind. Yeah, okay. Lose all ability is a colorless Noggle with base power and toughness. This is blue removal again. It's not good, but this is the best blue's gonna get, so. Apart from maybe some bounce, but even bounce doesn't really take care of the issue, it just delays it a turn. Holy shit, Oko's back! Are you still as busted as you... Yes. Yes, you are. At least he doesn't protect himself this time. But also, like, you're not... He's still going to be stupid. And he does still protect himself, actually. So he's a 3 mana, 3 loyalty planeswalker that either goes to 5 loyalty, and you're probably not killing a 5 loyalty planeswalker on turn 3 or 4. Or goes to 4 loyalty and makes it so one creature can't deal him damage. Because he gives -2, -0. Like, you're probably not removing this. So what does it get to be the following turn? So for 1 green, he becomes Oko Shadowmourne Scion. Right? You can transform him back by paying blue, so sure. -1, mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among them into your hand. Fine. -3, create 2 Elix. Or 2 Elks. Sure. -6, choose a creature type. You get an emblem with creatures you control that are chosen type. Get +3/+3. So win the game. Sure. I don't mind ults being you win the game, by the way. I feel like most Planeswalker ults should just read you win the game. This is actually probably more you win the game than the Ajani one, but it very much depends on how the Ajani deck is built, because the Ajani deck could 100% just read you win. I don't think he's as good as the Ajani Planeswalker, because the Ajani Planeswalker is 3 mana for a 3 loyalty Planeswalker that makes a blocker and goes up to 4. This guy is similar because he's 3 and makes a... or removes an attacker. I don't know. I like the fact that all of his pluses are on one side and you have to transform him for all of his negative. I think that's an interesting design for a Planeswalker. I think this might be the coolest Planeswalker. Upsettingly, this might be cooler than Ajani. I don't think it's better, but I think it's definitely a cooler idea for a Planeswalker than Ajani. But yeah, so this comes down on turn 3. You -2, -0 one of your opponent's attackers. It goes up to 4. I mean, they maybe get 1 damage in to make him down to a... So even if you transform him, if you create the 2 Elks, Elks... I don't know why I keep saying Elks. Elks, he does just die. But maybe you keep him on this side and you just keep plussing him and making it so one creature can't attack, and then making hopefully having creatures to block with until you can like -6 him. I don't know, 3 mana Planeswalkers. The fact they've put 2 3 mana Planeswalkers in this set is fucking terrifying. Because 3 mana Planeswalkers are always dangerous, right? And I think they always see play. Because there was old Oko was a 3 mana Planeswalker and he was so good he got banned. Old Liliana, the 3 mana Liliana is always good. Because she just is. What other three? There was the 3-mana Teferi Planeswalker that was also really good. I mean, even when they did what was the Spark set, where there was a bunch of Planeswalkers. Like, if a Planeswalker costs 3 or less, it probably gets played. Because there was the one that made your opponent unable to draw cards. That got played, but that got played for really toxic reasons. Because then you played a bunch of spells that, like, wield. And you got the wield cards, your opponent didn't, and it just made them sad. Which is kind of gross. But, like, 3-mana Planeswalkers are just good. They just are. There is never going to be an if, and, or but. Because generally, you're not going to be able to kill it. Without, like, destroy target Planeswalker for 2 mana in black or whatever, you're just not going to be able to kill it. You're not going to have enough damage on the board by turn 3 to kill something with 3, 4, or 5 loyalty. And Oko has 4 or 5 loyalty, and Ajani has 4 loyalty, but a guaranteed blocker. And I just don't think you're getting through that. And, like, both of them have... Because Oko does, on the flip side, have make 2 green elks. So he does at least have token generation. Like... I think they're both... I think I like Oko as, like, an idea for a Planeswalker more, because the flip thing's cool. And having only positives on one side and negatives on the other is, I think, a really good idea. I think he's a Planeswalker, so you take him if you see him guaranteed, but I think Ajani is the better Planeswalker for actually winning a limited game. Specifically for a limited game. But I still think Oko is incredible. And I really love the design mechanic. Omni Changeling. Okay. It's a 5-mana... Oh, okay. Enters the battlefield as any creature except it has Changeling. Sure. So this is a clone. So it's a 5-mana clone that has Convoke, so it's probably you're probably only paying 3 for it, which is about how much a clone usually costs. And it makes the whatever you clone a Changeling. This is probably good. I'm trying to think about. Because it's any creature, right? So you can steal your opponent's good shit. Yeah, you can steal your opponent's good shit. And it just has Changeling, so it works with whatever... whatever archetype you're doing. Like, it costs 5, which I don't like, but with the Convoke, it probably doesn't cost 5. And with the Changeling, it works with any archetype. And you can just steal your opponent's shit. Well, like, worst comes to worst, you can just pinch your opponent's good thing. And now it works for you. So, yeah, this is probably good. Pestered Wellguard. A 4-mana 3/2. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, create a 1/1. This is good. Yeah. Whenever this becomes tapped, make a flyer. This is a good merfolk for you to tap with your other merfolks to do stuff. Because it'll at least make a blocker every time. And if you don't need to use the fairies as blockers, you can start making up an army of 1/1 flyers and just pecking your opponent to death. I think this would be like a big card I would pick as many of as I could. If I saw them. Prime Chill. Seven mana instant. Plus 1 less cast for each color among permanents you control. Okay, so not 7 mana. Probably like 5 or 6. I'd probably say 5. It's not going to get much lower than 5, right? Because you're probably going to be in 2 colors. Maybe you're in 3 and this goes down to being 4, but I don't know. Tap 2 target creatures, put a stun counter on each of them, and draw a card. Sure. I think it's too expensive, but fine. What do you usually pay for tap? It's usually 4 mana for tap 2 creatures, right? Put a stun counter on them. But then it doesn't come with draw a card. So maybe paying 5 for this is fine. Yeah, this is probably okay. It's not incredible. It's not terrible. It's just kind of fine. I would only pick this if I really didn't have another option, I think. Rhyme Fire... What? Rhyme Fire Talk? Okay. 2-mana artifact. As it enters, choose a creature type. Whenever a permanent you control of the chosen type enters, put a charge counter. And remove 3 charge counters. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Interesting. So this is creature-fueled spell-slinging duplication? This is actually probably not the worst thing in a limited deck, right? Because, like... So, the problem with something like this normally is like, oh, I can duplicate spells. I want to have a lot of spells, right? And that's wrong. That's not what you want in a limited format. You want primarily creatures. But because of the way this works, you put this into a primarily creature-based deck, and then charge this up with whatever tribal you've got, and then just use this to duplicate your really important spells. Like your black removal spell. Like your white pump spell that's going to make everything big enough to go over the top. Right? Like your blue draw spell that's going to get you all the cards you need. But I actually don't hate this. Because, like, previous variations of this would be like, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a charge counter on it, remove 3 charge counters. And, like, most, I would say most limited decks are going to have, like, 5, maybe 6 instant or sorcery spells in them. Because you want primarily creatures. Because, what is it, 40 card deck, you're going to have 17 lands, 16, 17 lands. And then you're going to have, like... This is run tribal to copy overrun type card. Yeah, exactly. Because, yeah, so if you're running a 40 card deck and like 17 are lands, you're going to want like 15-ish creatures. So that's what, 32? You've only got 8 more cards to fit into the deck. This takes one of them, so 7 more cards. So at most, if like you're going to have 7 instant or sorceries, which for other things, which usually charge up for playing instants and sorceries, doesn't work, because you'd only get 2 duplications out of this. But because this is charging up with creatures, you can have like 4 or 5 really strong instant or sorcery spells, and then just charge this up with creatures, and then duplicate those. I actually like this. I do like this artifact. I think this is an artifact you can actually play in limited and be happy about it, because you are primarily playing creatures and only using this to duplicate the instant and sorcery spells that you took because they were, like, powerful. So, like, duplicating your removal spells, duplicating your overrun spells. Like, that's what this is for. And I like that. I like that a lot. Wow, blue cards I actually like. Get it away from me. Rhymeclin Recluse. 3 mana, 3/2. When it enters, return up to 1 other target creature. Okay, sure. Blue gets these generally. We saw one earlier that was 5 mana, but it was Convoke and Flash. This is just the 3 mana cheapy shitty version. Sure. Run away together. This is a reprint. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return them to their owner's hand. I'm pretty sure this is a reprint. And this is fine. Again, it's not actual removal, but it's kind of blue removal. You can also use it to re-trigger your enter the battlefield effects, which is good. Yeah, this is a fine card. Shine Striker, a 4 mana, 6 mana, 3/3 flyer. Blue, you've forgotten your hands again. They're at home somewhere. I mean, you probably still take this because it's a flyer, but fucking 6 mana for a 3/3? Did we forget how to damage people? Vivid. When this creature enters, draw cards equal to the number of colors among permanents you control, which is probably going to be 2. Actually, a 3 mana flyer that draws 2 cards might be worth 6. I do hate that it's a 3/3. Like, I am personally offended that it's a 3/3, but that might actually be worth it. How much do you pay for drawing 2 cards? Usually like 3 or 4. So this is a 3 mana 3/3 flyer if you staple on the fact that it can draw 2 cards. Generally. If this draws you 3 cards, it's absolutely bananas. Okay. As much as I hate it, this is actually good. Like, I read 6 mana, saw 3/3, and immediately wanted to punch this creature out of existence, but actually this card is better than I want it to be. Silvergill Mentor. 2 mana, 2/1. As an additional cost to Behold. Sure, when it enters, create a 1/1. Yep, this is a good card. Great card. Love it. This is the kind of thing I expect in Merfolks, and yeah, great. Silvergill Peddler. 3 mana for a 2/3. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, draw a card, then discard a card. Sure. This is a very generic pack filling card. 3 mana, 2/3 looter. Sure. Spell Snare. This is another reprint. 1 mana, counter target spell with mana value 2. Yep. This is actually probably better than because a lot of black removal spells are 2 nowadays, right? Like the one that kills everything, but you have to discard a card or pay 3 life. Like anything like that, this is just better against. I mean, that's not in limited. In limited, this is just bad. But in standard, this is probably better than it has been in a while. Stratasora? Yep, I think that's how you say that. 5 mana for a 3/5 flyer. When it enters, return target creature gains flying until end of turn. It's got basic land cycling. Yeah, this is fine. It's a big flyer. You just run it because it's a big flyer. This just gets played in limited. This is fine. Summit Sentinel. A 2 mana 1/3. When it dies, draw a card. Sure. It's a very blue card. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just fine. Sunderflock. 9 mana? What does this card do? It costs X to cast, where X is the greatest mana value among elementals you control. Okay. Sure. Flying. When it enters, if you cast it, return all non-elemental creatures to their owner's hand. Is this Cyclonic Rift for elementals? That might actually be good enough. So this is like the blue version of a board wipe stapled to a creature. I mean, it's not quite Cyclonic Rift, because it does hit your own cards if they're not elementals. But, like... yeah. This is... I mean, it does cost 9, but, I mean... even Shine Striker would reduce it by 6, so this would be a 3 mana 5/5 that bounces everything that's not your elementals. Yeah, so this is kind of like is Cyclonic Rift permanent? Cyclonic Rift might be permanent, so it might actually be not as good. Return target non-land permanent. Yeah, so Cyclonic Rift hits everything. This only hits creatures. But it's still like, board wipe your creatures, leave my elementals, and I have a 5/5 flyer, right? This is actually good. Especially if you can play this for cheaper. If you can play this for like 5, this is bananas, right? It's a 5 mana flying 5/5 that Cyclonic that rifts that just bounces everything that's not elemental. Is it elemental? I guess we've seen some elemental things, but like not that many. But maybe elementals is like red and blue. So maybe if you're doing red blue elementals, this is just like your win condition. You just slam this puppy down, and then all of your opponent's shit goes away. Have a good evening and day. It's my time to stream. All right. Well, have fun on your stream. Good luck. And maybe I'll come in and say hey after I finish this. Although I'm probably still streaming for another like 4 hours, so I have no idea. You better. All right. I'll see you in a little bit then. But yeah, I think Thunder Flock is really good. I don't hate this card. Again, I'm annoyed at how much I like these blue cards. Swat Away, 4 mana instant, costs 2 less to cancel. Oh, it's a bounce thing. Oh, it's put it on top of the library. Sure. 4 mana, costs 2 less to cancel if the creature is attacking you. The owner of target spell or creature puts it on their choice of the top or bottom of their library. Again, cards like this are fine. But they're kind of just fine, right? I don't know. Again, for me, stuff like this doesn't actually deal with the problem, it just delays the problem. But sometimes that's all you need in blue. Like, if you've got enough flyers and you're pecking away and your opponent tries to play something to deal with the flyers and you just bounce it straight back. Sometimes that's all you need. So yeah, this is kind of blue removal, so I guess you take it if you see it, probably. What? Oh. For some reason, this is inverted. Sig Wonderwine... What? Sig Wonderwine Wisdom... Oh my fucking god, that's a mouthful. Sig, we'll call him Sig. This guy is a 2 mana 2/2 that can't be blocked, and whenever he enters or transforms into him, target creature gains. When this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, draw a card. Sure. And then at the beginning of your next main phase, you can pay 1 white. If you do, he becomes this guy. Can't be blocked. When he transforms into this guy, target creature you control gains protection from each color until your next turn. Sure, I guess. What do I think of that? I think he's fine. 2 mana 2/2 is fine. Can't be blocked is great, so he's always going to get damage through. But he can't trigger his own enters ability. He can trigger it when he transforms, right? So like when he enters, he can't give himself, when this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card because he doesn't have haste. And I assume there's no way to give haste. Maybe there is, but not in blue-white, I don't imagine. This side, target creature you control gains protection from each color. But again, this is happening at the beginning of your first main phase, and it's an ability when he transforms. So your opponent can just blow him up in response to it, right? I don't know. I mean, he's good removal bait. If you play this on turn 2, you are winning by turn 12 because he can't be blocked. Technically, that's a clock, right? 10 turns with this guy out and your opponent will die. Because you can't block him, so he can't really be interacted with apart from, like, targeted removal. But, like, it's not like you can transform him whenever you want. You can only transform him at the beginning of your first main phase unless there's, like, spells that transform stuff. So, you can't, like, give him protection from a color when your opponent tries to do something to him. I don't know. This is a weird one. I think him being a 2 mana 2/2 that can't be blocked is kind of what I have to run on here. And that's fine. I think he's just fine. Anafel Rhyme Speaker. 4 mana, 2/4. Whenever you cast a spell with mana 4 or greater, draw a card. The transform makes something else unblockable most of the time. So slightly smaller clock. True. I guess. This one. Yeah, but it's only once every, like, 2 turns, right? Even if you're transforming him slightly... Yeah, I guess it is a slightly smaller clock, but obviously, like, it's not huge. Yeah. Yeah, so Tanafel Rhyme Speaker, whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, draw a card. Sure, this is a very blue and red thing, and sure, whatever. If you've got a bunch of spells that cost 4 or greater, this guy's good, but, like... I don't know what you would play that in. Maybe elementals? He is an elemental. So maybe all the elementals are expensive, and this guy means that you can play expensive elementals and get extra value out of your expensive elementals. Sure. Sure. He's a 4 mana 2/4, so yeah, it's not great, but... Temporal Cleansing. 4 mana with Convoke. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it in their library second from the top or on the bottom. This is another... This is probably better than the last one. Well, this one can cost 2 and is instant speed. This one is 4 and is sorcery speed. So no, the other one's still better. But this at least deals with a problem for what, like 2 turns? Because they have to draw the card again to get it. Or 1 turn. 1 complete turn. No, 2 turns. It's gone for that turn with you, and then the turn after, and then they draw it again and have to replay it. Sure, I think this is worse than Swat Away, but it's fine. Again, like, blue removal is so ass, you kind of have to take whatever you can get. Thirst for Identity. 3 mana, draw 3 cards, discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card. Sure. There's been a bunch of cards like this. What's Thirst for... There's a bunch of Thirst for cards that are draw 3, discard something, right? Let me go check. Thirst for Knowledge, Discovery, Meaning, Blood. First 4 series. Yeah, Thirst for Discovery is draw 2, discard unless you get rid of a land. Thirst for Meaning, discard unless you draw unless you discard an enchantment. So this is just another one of the Thirst 4 cards. They're fine. I mean, I think they usually see play because blue loves drawing cards. So this is just another way for blue to draw cards, so sure. Unexpected Assistance. A 5 mana Convoke, draw 3 cards, then discard a card. So this is probably like 3 or 4 mana, draw 3 cards, discard a card. So this is probably just fine. Again, like, these aren't going to be very good in Limited. Not really, because they're not going to affect the board at all. You're just going to draw cards as you get your ass beat. So, Unwelcome Sprite. A 2 mana 2/1 flyer. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, surveil 2. Okay, and most of the fairies have flash, so you're probably going to be doing that a lot. Fine little card. Yeah. It's a flyer. It's a 2 mana 2/1. It'll deal damage. Sure. Wandering Distractor is a 4 mana 4/3. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-0 until end turn. Sure, very pack fillery card. Doesn't really do all that much. Sure. Wanderwine Farewell. 7 mana. Merfolk Sorcery. It does have Convoke. Return up to 2 target non-land permanents to their owner's hand, and then if you control a Merfolk, create a Merfolk for each permanent returned to its owner's hand this way. So, this is 5 mana, bounce 2, then make 2, if you have a Merfolk. Again, that's not really doing it for me, but sure. It's... Nah, it doesn't really get me excited. This is just probably like a bad bounce spell. I mean, it's got Convoke. Like I said, maybe it's good if you've got Convoke, but it's sorcery speed, bounce 2 things, make 2 1/1s. Like, it's the most meh thing ever I've seen. Wild Unraveling. 2 mana. As an additional cost to cast a spell, Blight 2 or pay 1, counter target spell. I don't really care for counters in Limited. I think I prefer to just have more things to throw at my opponent rather than just having counter spells to try and stop my opponent from doing anything. That being said, I probably get absolutely blasted by this card at some point, and it makes me sad because it's probably just good enough. 2 mana, counter anything, but I have to put some -1/-1 counters on a creature. It's probably great, as long as you have the creatures to do it for. Or to put the counters on. At worst, this is just a very normal 3 mana counter spell, so... Sure, I just don't care for counter spells at all. Hey, we're on to black! Okay, what did I think of blue? So, there was a lot of cards in blue I actually liked, right? Up until, like, Sunderfolk, and then Sunderflock, and then everything went downhill. But, like, I think Sunderflock is cool. I like this Rhymefire Talk. It looks like blue is actually throwing some hands. I thought Oko's got a really cool design. Mirrorform is interesting. But yeah, like I like this Lockmare thing. A lot of the fairies look like they can really hurt you. Because they come down fast, they all have flying, and they can do some serious damage. And, like, there are some cards... I mean, only, like, the Champion of Shoal was really, really good. But, like, there are certainly some Merfolk cards that can do some damage. They just... Yeah, I think blue has some good cards in it. I'm just not a big blue player, especially in Limited. Unless blue is completely open, I just don't care about it. I would much rather play... green and something else, like green-black, green-white, or green-red, I'm fine with. Blue, I'm just not much. And, like, I will also play, like, white-black, or white-red for aggro. But, like, I tend to avoid blue if I can. Just because I don't really like... a lot of what it does. I mean, weirdly, my favorite guild in Ravnica is Dimir, which is blue-black. But again, there's a lot. I also like Gruul a lot as well, though. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not much of a blue player. So I tend to bounce off a lot of the blue cards. But there's certainly some cards in here that I would be, like, not opposed to playing. I just have to, like... push myself to pick blue, right?